Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and it seems like I introduce myself in every video lately with "It's 4 in the morning," and that's not my fault. That's when they're awake over there. So it's 4 in the morning. I was in bed and I got pinged that there's I totally forgot these were today and not tomorrow. The balance patch update. So let's read them together and see what we have. I'm expecting a dud. They haven't really impressed me yet in any of their patches. Like nothing exceptional. They've never taken our feedback from what I've seen either. Like they say these are like the reason they give us these early is so we can give feedback, and they change based on feedback, but I don't think they've ever really done that, right? So I'm expecting there's 7 heroes, 3 artifacts, and 1 debuff. I'm expecting 1 ML5. No. Let's take it back. I'm expecting 2 ML5s that are used regularly, that are still good, that get buffs, as opposed to a bunch of the ML5s that don't get used. I'm not expecting a Kayron buff. I'm expecting at least one of the 5 stars to be somebody they've already previously buffed, and I told them it was bad in a video previously. I'm just guessing, by the way. I'm also expecting the artifacts to be the star of the show in terms of what's the actual best. It's happened like that a few times. They've turned some not so good artifacts into great artifacts, and the other 5-star is going to be first the one that's already got changed a bunch, somebody like Mui, and then somebody who doesn't really need a change will get a change, like, oh lord, I'm putting myself on the spot, like Destina. I don't know, like somebody that doesn't need it. Anyway, that's enough for my guessing. Let's get into this. First off, we have 5-star number 1. I can see it down there. Maybe I can make this a little bigger. Ruele of Light. Number 2. Lionheart. So far, I'm 2 for 2. 2 characters used a lot that I don't think need buffs, at least comparatively. And we're scrolling down. Haste, Tenebria has been changed a lot, right? So that's 2 characters that have been changed a lot? This is so weird. They're both fire too. Mort is interesting. Another one who's been changed a lot, I think. And then Silk. I believe another one that has received a bunch of buffs, right? And then Suthan, a recently introduced 3-star that they released that was just abysmal. He's atrocious. I tried him out. Absolutely ridiculous. The fact that he's so bad, as they released him, is just not fair, honestly. Sorry, I'm trying not to be negative. I just knew exactly what this was going to be. Maybe these are massive changes, and I'll read in a second. I'm still optimistic, and I'm still hopeful. I just kind of know their MO lately, and they haven't been deviating. So somebody I would like to see, since I always get this question too, some changes I would like to see to some people. I personally don't see somebody like Sage Balancezan anymore. Maybe he's used in RTA more, but I never really hear him talked about, and I don't use him in Guild War, so maybe something like that. I'm sure he's used in RTA though. So maybe that was a really, really bad example. There's a ton of others too. I can't think of them though. I'd have to look at the list to get an idea there. There's a ton that just aren't really used though, right? Anyways, we've got Restrict being changed, Rise of a Monarch, Dust Noctis, and Steadfast Gatekeeper. So let's see, Ruele of Light here. So for Ruele of Light, they are adding amount recovered increases proportion to the caster's max health. I didn't know that was not a thing. Damage dealt increases proportionate. Oh, the allies. Oh, right. I totally forgot of that. Yeah, so it's caster's max health. That's way better, of course. And Light Pillar here. Summons a Light Pillar, dispelling all debuffs for an ally before recovering their health and granting them barrier. Now increases the CR of the caster by 25%. Interesting. I personally didn't think she needed this, but maybe it's different in RTA, and I'm assuming all the changes are for RTA now, right? So she specializes in protecting and reviving a single target, which each skill being powerful but having long skill cooldowns at a relatively low base speed, resulting in a slow skill cycle. With these adjustments, her skill Light Pillar will now additionally increase the CR when used. Change is expected to improve her overall skill cycle and usability. Furthermore, her skill Key to an Oath will now recover the target's health proportionate. Yeah, cool. So pretty decent buff there. I still have her Ruele. I haven't built her yet, but I do have her. I did take her from the... I think I took her from the free 5-star a while back. It was either her or Corvus. I just didn't have the mullet to use her. So we've got Lionheart Cermia. I don't think she needed a change. Is she not really good? I'm really confused on this one. So, after an ally suffers an extra blah blah blah, all debuffs inflicted on the caster and increases their CR by 20% too. That's a pretty big buff, right? 20% CR is huge to boost her ahead, especially when it's in a reaction to a teammate, right? So I'm the Victor now just does increase damage. I thought it did a lot of... I'm so confused. So Lionheart Cermia is a hero designed to consistently deal a substantial amount of damage to enemies who use extra attacks, counterattacks, and dual attacks. However, her skill Shine had a long turn before she could take her turn after activation, often resulting in unpredictable outcomes and making it difficult for her to deal significant damage due to factors like damage reduction effects. To enhance her ability to deal damage more reliably, Shine will now increase her CR when activated. Additionally, the skill damage of I Am the Victor will be slightly increased to improve her overall usability. So obviously good changes, but not two that needed it, I don't think. I almost want to go look at the list of ML5s now, because there's always a ton when I look through the thing, but I don't have so many of them, so I don't remember. Anyway, let's go down to Haste. So Haste is wild. They gave him this trash for his skill 1. Previously it was Bleed. He had a chance to land like 2 bleeds or something with his skill 1, and they took it away to steal a buff. Now it's going to decrease defense, and his skill 3 decreases defense down 2, and it's only down 1 turn cooldown. My god. Like, it's crazy to me. They had a small little buff on Haste to try to make him better, and it obviously wasn't enough. And then they give him another small little buff, and it's not enough. So kind of interesting here, a little bit frustrating. This is the type of thing that frustrates me, you know? It's just such a waste. Let me read this. Whew, Mango, be positive. Be positive! Haste, the versatile thief hero, excels at dispelling enemy buffs, decreasing defense, inflicting bleed, and healing allies with his high speed. However, his skill Vamp Seal had a longer cooldown, making it challenging for him to maintain the decreased defense buff on a single target during prolonged battles. Firstly, the effect of Envoy's Scythe skill will be changed from stealing a buff to decreasing defense. Previously, this was bleeds, I believe, right? And the cooldown of Vamp Seal will be reduced by 1 turn. They've changed it so much, they've got me double guessing. Additionally, with his EE, option 3, blah, 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 we hope these adjustments, Haste can now be effectively utilized in different content, prove to be an even more valuable asset to his team. They're also changing his EE. Now, instead of increases his CR, it increases his defense effect chance. I feel like that's worse, right? Like, he's not a good character. Why not give him more than 50% chance to land a deep? I don't understand. I know it's a 2-turn, but still. It's a 2-turn on a skill 1 that's going to do a third of what a Ravi does with 10,000% more DPS stats attached to Haste versus a Ravi, and being like a fraction of his tanky. I just don't understand why they only do something like 50% on a character that's not very good. Because 50%, I don't know. Next character. So, Tenebria here, I can't remember how much she's been changed, or has she been changed? I know she's been a solid character for a very, very long time, and I can't really remember what has changed with her. I'm sure there's something, though. So, Ominous Thunder, now she has a Soul Burn for increases damage dealt on Ominous Thunder, and it is taken off her Nightmare. So, I don't know what skill is... I'm guessing... yeah, Ominous Thunder is her skill 2, right? So they took it off her skill 3 and added it to her skill 2. They lowered the cooldown on her skill 3, I think, by 1 turn, and they gave her a really good imprint concentration instead of dual attack chance, which is super fun. I love the idea, but not great. I mean, oh, also restrict. And also they said restrict is being changed up there too, so maybe this is changing. With restrict, the only thing they can really change is make it so you can't decrease their CR. Or you can decrease their CR when they're restricted. So, I think there were situations, was it with Cerise, where restrict would like counter their build somehow? I can't remember what interaction it was. It happened a lot when it just came out. Anyway, so first the skill cooldown of her skill Nightmare. By the way, 3-turn cooldown is pretty nutso, considering she's got a skill 3 and a skill 2, so she just goes 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, basically, right? So will be decreased by 1 turn to enhance her debuff inflicting cycle and the soulburn effect, which previously increased damage. Additionally, Ominous Thunder will be improved to decrease the enemy's speed and restrict their actions. Oh, decreased speed was already there. I thought they were saying added decreased speed. They're also changing. This is gone now, so you can't have a 2-turn. But now grants greater attack. That's good. I like this. This is a pretty cool change. I do like this. I thought she was okay, though, and I thought people used her for PvE a lot, too. Maybe I'm incorrect. So let's take a look at Mort. So I don't even know what Mort does. His text is so long. I mean, I know what he does, but let's actually see. So if the caster inflicts a critical hit when using a basic skill, has a 100% chance instead of 50%. So they made that guaranteed activation. And now his skill 3 goes down to 3 turns, loses a soul, and lowers his healing. Interesting. I'm not sure how good this will be. 3-turn cooldown for skill 3s are pretty sick, especially with this at 100% now. I've fought a Mort recently and he kind of ran me over, so I'm curious how this is going to go. As for Silk here, decreasing their combat readiness by 10%. Damage dealt. So single shot is no longer getting an extra 3%. I'm confused. I'll read what they says, because it says 10% here, and now it says 10% here, and they're changing the skill enhancement to do extra damage instead of the CR. So losing 3% CR. Weird. Let me read what this says. So gain 1 focus at the start of the turn and consumes 1 focus when attacked. Now it dispels 1 debuff from the caster and increases CR by 15%. Okay, and automatic fire. They didn't have that at all, right? Single shot is enhanced to automatic fire, increasing damage dealt. Now, attacks the enemy with arrows, decreasing CR by 10%. Damage dealt increases the caster's speed. Pens the target's defense by 20%. The attack receives effects that are applied to the basic skill. So it also receives this 10%. I'm confused at this. So Silk will receive improvements in her skill Automatic Fire, which will now pen a certain amount of the target's defense and dispel 1 debuff from the caster when attacked. The overall skill structure of Atomic Fire will be enhanced, and the skill enhancement will be adjusted accordingly. No functional changes will be made to her regarding the structural changes. We expect Silk to be used more frequently against enemies who consistently inflict debuffs or enemies with high defense. Interesting. I don't know what to think about that one. And then Suthan. So Suthan needs a lot. He was not good. I have him 6-starred. I built him. Yeah, so after attacking, increases attack, defense, effectiveness by 5%. Okay, so he gets a 50% defense boost, which is pretty good, but releases mana to attack all enemies. It has a 100% chance to make them unhealable, inflict 2 burn effects instead of 1. Huh. Yeah, that's not it. That's not gonna do it. I've used him. It's not gonna do it. He can't survive. Even with defense, he's not gonna survive long enough. He still has that low HP. I forget what his base is, but as a 3-star, they give them terrible stats, which is like, this might be not be the best opinion, but I've always thought 3 stars and 4 stars in gachas should be good. I never realized, like, depending on the game, if your 3 stars are just fodder, like they're random crap, and your 4 stars and 5 stars are where the bulk of things are. In a game like Epic 7, where you have really cool 3 stars and they're all great and everything, and then your fodder is 2 stars, I really feel like 3 stars should be good. Like, there's no reason that their stats should be so low. It just makes them unusable. So even if you have somebody with a skill set that is better than somebody of a 5-star, they're still almost unusable most of the time because their defenses and their stats are so low. So I think having 3 stars that are just not even looked at when they're released is a little bit of a failure, and I would love to see them fix that. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, like somebody like Clury. I'm not even sure who's used as 3 stars anymore that isn't a spec change. And most spec change aren't used either because, again, their base stats are just not good enough, even with all the buffs. So, Rise of the Monarch now increases all defense by 10%. That's pretty good. That's a pretty sick change. That's awesome. Dux Noctis increases attack by 6 to 12. Okay, so it just makes the base percent more, and then stacks up 6 times. So 12 times 6, we have 72. I think. Is that right? It's 4 a.m., guys. 12 times 6, 72, yeah. Versus 8, 16, 24, 32? So it's a lot more attack, right? That's a lot more attack. I don't know how good that is, but it's still a lot more attack. Oh god, they completely changed Steadfast Gatekeeper. So before, it increases CR of the caster by 8% after being attacked by a skill that targets all allies. Now, it increases defense of all allies by 5%, decreases damage suffered by a leader boss monsters by 10 to 20%, and effect is not stacked with others. Okay, not bad. Nice little PvE one. I think that is pretty good. Yeah. Debuff balance. Okay, here we go. Restrict. Cannot receive. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they're just going to make it so you can decrease somebody's speed when they're restricted, which makes sense, right? Like, it just, like, maybe lore-wise, it doesn't make sense lore-wise, but it doesn't make sense, like, gameplay-wise, I don't think. So, yeah, this is one of the worst ones I've seen so far, I think. Maybe I'm 4 in the morning, tired, crabby, you know. But 2 ML5s that I think were already good. Haste, which has been changed already. Tenebria, which has been, I think all 3 have been changed already. So, can somebody confirm in the comments? But I feel like all 3 have gotten at least 1 balance patch already. Silk looks interesting. Suthan doesn't matter. Yeah, so let's see what people are saying. This is always my favorite part, because like I said, I always read these before I read anything else, right? So I don't know what other people are saying. So, and you have me recorded with my first impressions right away, right? So I could be very, very much wrong, and y'all could be getting very mad at me. This balance patch has got to be the most laziest shit I've ever seen. Like, holy fuck, you guys really prioritize balance ML5 Lionheart, Cermia instead of something like ML Haste or ML Charon. That is both unusable. Well, we got to wait like 2 months again. You guys never fail to disappoint. I mean, that was my thought. I didn't say it out loud like that. ML Haste was somebody I was thinking of, and I was going to say it, but I didn't want to have people say, you just summoned ML Haste. That's why you said it. ML Charon, I was not I wanted him to be changed because I have him and he just does not seem fun nor usable. But Haste was a good example too. Balanced team, try to do their best. Try to do your job challenge. My job here is done, but you didn't do anything. This is one of my... I think this is my favorite meme of all time because I grew up with this too. I think it's definitely one of my favorite memes of all time. I love Sailor Moon. Buff Lermia instead of Tekron. This balance patch is questionable. Only Lermia and Ruele get stronger while other buffs is met. Also, please read this balance team. Buff Luna, Bihu definitely needs something Kali, otherwise you'll face crit resist meta and it's the worst meta we've ever seen. You don't buff these units, then we screw. Incoming meta plus Ruele is tedious and it will be the worst of the worst. The worst balance patch I've ever seen. How much do those who brew the wind pay? What are these comments? LHC doesn't need a buff right now. There is still Emma. Yeah, she did not need a buff whatsoever. She was a lot of people's favorite. She was doing great. Obviously, how do I say this? Obviously, having her get buffed is great. She's still not as good as a lot of other units. But the fact that they do so few balance changes is why changing somebody like LHC is such a bad thing. We get like 2 ML5 changes every 2 months or something like that, and to have it be somebody who was already good and used is a little bit insulting, is what I'm trying to get at. So how about listening to the community? Oh, super pretty. My god. What about ML Charon, ML Furious, or ML Haste? Ooh, how is ML Furious? I did summon him. Why does Cermia need a buff? This is some stupid joke, right? Your balance team is so bad. No, extremely bad. Not enough heroes in the balance patches, and they have been so far out of touch from what people have asked for. Seems that every new balance patch, your teams show that they are not up to the task anymore, so maybe time to shuffle people around with others who can do something worthwhile for once. Again, no ill will towards Smilegate. This is me reading what the people are saying. The buff to Mort is kind of underwhelming. I wish that the buffs from his passive were naturally 2 turns, since a lot of times when Mort procs, his allies take a turn right after him, so the buff runs out and enemy attacks. Damage on the low side. This has to be, without a doubt, one of, if not the worst balance patch I've ever seen. My friend, did you see Diablo 4's balance patch? I face roll people with LHC all the time. Why is she getting buffed? Why are Haste and Mort getting buffed again? Okay, so that's a confirmation Mort's getting buffed again. What the hell, Smilegate? This is so bad. Oh, this guy's happy. Really not. We gotta read everybody. We've got to be fair. Really nice round of buffs. Love especially the Ruele and Mort ones. Both of them really needed them. I feel like a victim. I can't play. Like, honestly, where's the dislike button? Hot garbage, dumpster fire. We deserve better. Laziest balance patch. Who designed those? Oh my god, so funny. Anyways, that's that. Let me think realistically about this really quickly here. Will this change my game plan for anything? Because one thing as a content creator, I like to do things that are new and try fun units, like Suthan that I tried, and I'm gonna try him out after this patch. I don't think it's gonna change anything though. Everybody already knows what Ruele and Cermia look like, right? So those don't add any fun to my video loop. Mort will be fun. I will gladly take him out for a spin again. And maybe Haste as well, and maybe Tenebria, and maybe Silk. I mean, I guess all of these I can try at least to make the most of it, right? Like, that's the best we can do, is just make the most of our experience within the game and try to have the most fun, which is what I try to do now. I hope y'all respect that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.